Okay, we're all set now. Sweet. Okay. Lucid Trading Project X. We're all set now. Phew, that was quite something. All my stuff was down. We got this up and going. Share screen. Beautiful. What's going on, Monopoly? Good morning. Eddie, Mahadi, Patrick, Rebo, Terrence, Waldev. Good morning. Sorry about that minor little outage there. But we are all set, all up and running now. Let me get the other computer going as well. My mic was not working for whatever reason. We'll get a little announcement out for, well, not really an announcement, but just a little update for what happened with futures, and then it'll just be a regular trading day after that. But I am just as disappointed as you guys. I had a $400 trade open for that IB low break yesterday. Moved my stop loss to break even, and it immediately filled, which was a little upsetting. Actually, very upsetting. Pull up SPY. Sorry about the delay. What's going on, Monopoly? Bull Nuts, how you doing? Let's get this alert out here. It's only mildly frustrating. All right, and we got SPY pulled up. Beautiful. A little late today. I don't know what happened with the mic. Just did not want to work for me. All right, so we'll chart out those levels real quick. I want to look at the 24-hour chart before we get into any of the nitty-gritty stuff here. Pull up edgeful as well. Edgeful data. There we go. Beautiful. Okay, and then let me go and get the alert out. Good morning. Good morning. How are we doing? Let's see if we can beat the 1380 from yesterday. No way. Does it say pre-open status? Oh, that just means you took too much size. Yeah, no. Huh. Weird. All right, so why did you disconnect? Don't do that to me again. Stupid laptop. Taking a look at the 24-hour time frame, this is the first thing I want to wrap in here. We very clearly have higher lows on Qs at the very least. Bitcoin, kind of the same thing. I mean, you got to be a little creative with this one. It is higher lows on the smaller time frame on the 24-hour, but higher lows, I mean, macro term as well, but lower lows on the monthly time frame. Anyway, we'll go over to Qs. Very clearly have higher lows, and we're going right back into that 629.09 resistance level. Actually, gonna put a hat on for today. Feeling it might look a little silly with the headset, but it'll work out. Gotta rip the Carhartt hat. How's that look? That looks fine. So 24-hour, we have very clear higher highs or higher lows, equal highs. We should pretty easily, before the end of the year, I think we'll get back up to what we have until next Wednesday. So I think we should pretty easily, or 2 Wednesdays out, we should pretty easily get back up to 629. We might do it within the next couple of days. That would be my target short term. Now going down to the 15-minute, and we'll draw in our previous day's 50, London 50, all that fun stuff. Previous day's 50 was absolutely horrendous. This is the smallest previous day's range that we've had for, I have no idea how long. We did get the IB low break. I don't know if any of you guys managed to take that break. What's going on, Zoo? Welcome in. That IB low break we had at 1 o'clock on the dot. And for anyone that doesn't know, it just has to break by a cent. So it doesn't have to have a candle close underneath it. Doesn't have to have a candle close on it. Continuation past it. It literally just has to wick to it and go through a little bit. So that's exactly what happened. I was unable to trade it because after I got off the live yesterday, I was in a trade for the IB low. I set my stop at break even and it immediately filled. Still got the break. What we're going to do, and I think I know I've said this before, but we finally come to the best possible setup, or the best possible way to trade the IB is going to be entering at that blue line, that 50% of the IB, and then have the stop be whichever direction is the one that we're obviously not anticipating the break to happen. So for yesterday's example, IB by rejection on Qs, we had a break at obviously the low. So this was 78% yesterday. This was the high being formed first and then the low. This was 77% chance that we go and break the low. So we enter at 50% of the IB. We put our stop loss at the IB high, take profit at the IB low, just let it run from there. Yesterday, we did have a double break, which I think that's 2 days in a row or 3 days in a row now. No, sorry, Monday, we didn't have a break. And then yesterday, we just had a double break. Given our previous day's 50, and we're already outside of that range today, so we don't have the inside bar stat to fulfill. There's our previous day's 50 right there. Previous day's low, 4 a.m. Previous day's high, 4 p.m., right at that 4 p.m. close. And then this is our pre-market move right now. A little disappointed as well because last night I had a long right here at 25.3. Stop loss got ticked on the 25.292 wick down, and it was quite literally a point that I missed it by, and then TP would have been overnight high, which we did end up hitting. So this was like a 140-point move. A little frustrated with that, but it happens. Bounced off of yesterday's high as well, so pretty nice move there, or yesterday's IB high. I've been working a little bit with trying to figure out how what's going on, Leo? Salsa Mania World? Interesting YouTube. Oh, not Leo, Leo. I gotcha. So for today's price action, looking for just some kind of reaction at London 50. We don't really have that good of an opening setup given that London 50 and previous day's high are right next to each other. Pretty much right on each other, and then we need to get some separation off this into open. The gap fill stat, go over to Qs on the gap fill. It's by size. I used to dance for money. Salsa dancing, I get you. 0.2% is this gap up right now. 50% chance that we fill the entire thing. Not really that large of an implied move. The gap fill is just going to be down to 611.86, so it's like $1.50. That would correlate over to 30 points maybe. And then the pivot up, if we do continue, I'm going to be targeting London high. And unfortunately, we don't have much to target after that. We are over the 4-hour fair value gap on NQ. I'll actually pull up NQ because it's clearer on that. or the 4-hour time frame, we are well over that 4-hour fair value gap. We rejected it on Monday, rejected it on Tuesday, right into open. That would have been a beautiful short. And now we have a 4-hour closure over, and we are just about at the top of that fair value gap. So I'm going to be looking for price to get up to 25.5. We're at 24.457. We just about hit 25.504. Actually, we did hit, we hit 25.508. So going back over to NQ, and we'll get this in on the 15-minute time frame. I'm going to be expecting a move up to 618 if we can get over London high today. So that level is 618. We'll mark that in. 618.42. That is the high from Monday that we had that nasty rejection off of for the fair value gap that we formed. And then ultimately going to be looking for that high that we made on Friday, which isn't much higher. It's 25.550. That's going to be a decent move for today. That's what I'm going to be expecting for futures on Qs. And then going over to individuals, TSLA, we're unfortunately going to be losing those shares. We got the move that I was anticipating. We got the move to that all-time high break, 479.44. We're at 489 as of yesterday's close. Hit 491 for a high, 492 just about. Should pretty easily go and take 500. And then once we hit that trend line, zoom out a little bit here, we still have the 642 price target that we assigned back in March, which hindsight, we should have just continued to hold Tesla for this entire move. Next time, and we have this for, let's say, 5, 6, 7 years out, however long it takes for Tesla to pull back. Tesla has pretty much pulled back 78% of every move that's made. So if we go from the COVID low to the high that we made in November 2021, drag that out to the right, that's the 78% retracement line right there, 110. So we get rid of that move. Actually, I'll just move it over. There we go. And then that same low to the high that we made in April or July, drag that out to the right. That got retraced in April 2024. So same exact thing there. Same drawing there. Retraced it back in March of this year. I think I missed that by a little bit. There we go. Retraced it perfectly. That's when we assigned that 642 price target. So now what we're looking for, and it's dependent on when we make the high. We're not going to short Tesla down. Yeah, I got you. I'll review PanW. Once we make the high, I'm expecting 642 on it. Then I'm going to be looking. I'm not going to short Tesla down. We could buy TSL. Doesn't have a depreciating asset on it, kind of as a hedge. I'm going to be looking for it to get 305. If this happens within TSLQ, thank you. If this happens within like the next 4 years, I am dumping everything that I have into Tesla at 300. That's if it hits that 642 price target. It's dependent on when it wants to make the high. If it makes it right now, equal highs at 500, then we're looking for 276. But this has been every single move Tesla's made since IPO. And we can even zoom into the COVID one. COVID lows right here, 2019, and then mark that up to COVID highs. You can see perfect retracement to 78% again. This is something that I'm going to be looking for in a couple of years, not anytime soon. But for now, we've already hit that 78% retracement. I know the chart looks kind of messy right now. Already hit that retracement, looking for 500. We should have, once we hit 500, we should have a rejection back down to this bottom trend line. And then we can go pretty heavy into TSLA again. And then we'll anticipate it making something like that, going back up to that trend line high, and then slowly making its way up to 640. I don't think it's going to be a blow off top, but we'll take a look at PanW for you, Fola. This one, Crowd has the same exact setup on this. Crowd, ZS, Okta, all the cybersecurity companies. This one, same trend line as well. So this would actually be a pretty good buying opportunity, I'd say. 188.70. and then we expect to move back up to 240, something like that. Not that detailed of an analysis, I know, but this is same as CrowdStrike as well. Same trend line. These all trade the same. So, and no problem. For open, we need some separation from these two levels, London 50 and previous day's high. Same for SPY as well. We will mark on the 4 hour that we have 25,504 as a resistance. We go over to SPY as well. No 4 hour fair value gap on that, but we do have the same kind of conundrum right now with the previous day's high, previous day's 50, London 50. We're right at London 50 right now. So I will be just waiting into open. Gap fill stat, 50-50 that we fill it. So no bias there. Just going to be looking for IB and maybe a gap fill if we see momentum building in one direction. We don't have the inside bar stat to measure today because price is outside of previous day's range. We need to wait for what high is being formed first. So that one's waiting on, I will pull up the stats for Wednesday. That one is waiting on what happens for the IB high or low. For today, if the high is formed first, 81% chance we go to the low. If the low is formed first, 73% chance we go to the high. And that's dependent on which one forms first and open. Welcome in everyone from the Edgeful stream and YouTube and X and all the platforms that I'm live on right now. Edgeful is mad good. I've been using it for a bit now. Great for daily bias. It is. I agree completely there. So for the TSLA cash secured puts, or covered calls, excuse me, these ones should pretty easily be assigned away. I will also be looking to close NVDX today because NVIDIA has a pretty nice gap up. Never mind, retrace the whole thing. What happened in the last half an hour? Had a $2 drop. Well, never mind. Scratch that. It did not hold the pre-market move. I refuse to look at gold today. I'm not going down that rabbit hole. I will pull up the NVIDIA so we can watch that and monitor the NVDX position. We are getting some separation now. I'd probably look for, if we get a sweep of London low, then I'd be happy going to the upside, but we need to hold this 25,408. We're open right there. To answer your question, Waldive, and this is obviously only in the first couple of seconds, that wick down would form the IB low first, and then the IB high just formed second. That's how you measure it throughout the morning. Now we have a new low, so it's the IB high being formed first, IB low. Doesn't matter what time frame it is. That's the first 60 minutes of market open. And then within that range, whatever, you'll be able to, I'll use the example from yesterday, actually. So you see how we formed, it develops throughout the morning. You see how we formed the low, and then it formed the high, and then the low, and it changes your bias as you're doing it. But once you build some separation, then you can start targeting which side of that's going to break. So we formed the high at 10 o'clock yesterday, and then we formed the low right at 10:25. Saying that we should break the low in that case, which we ended up doing at 1. This one just took a very, very long time to play out. Very long time. So for right now, we have the, looks like the low formed first and then the high. But this is way too early in the morning to take it. QQQ is delayed chart or live? QQQ is live. There's no delay on this. I get asked this question quite a bit, why I use Qs. Qs has no slippage on it. If you go over to MNQ, especially if you're using Project X, go over to MNQ or NQ, there's going to be slippage on the chart because that's where orders are getting filled. Sometimes you have wicks that happen on NQ that didn't happen. Sometimes you have wicks on QQQ that didn't happen. It's it's a lot less often on Qs because there's more liquidity in that market. It's shares. And then also QQQ is the same as NQ and MNQ. SPY is the same as ES and MES. GLD is the same as GC and MGC. IWM is the same as RTY and MTY or MRY. And then the Dow is just DOW, I believe. Or DW, one of the two. DWX. There you go. Something like that. Not too exciting into the open so far. We did just get a rejection off of London 50. So we'll see if that holds down to London low. London low pretty much lines up with the gap fill stat. There's no previous day in London gap, so there's no draw there. We just need to wait for some separation from these levels. SPY is looking a little bit better because it has some support down at 678.70-ish. And then Qs is about the only one that's a little iffy right now. Holy moly, Tesla is on a tear again. She's pushing 23.50. We're definitely losing those shares. Let's see what NVDX is sitting at for the covered call there, or cash secured put, I mean. It's at 5% because of this gap down. That should refresh and open at least, and then we'll be up a little bit more. What's going on, Bear? How you doing? AJB, Zoo. Have anything from Frenchie or Leo this morning? Oh, yes. Thank you. So it was a bit unfortunate yesterday. Project X remained down pretty much all the way until 6. It was down again at 6, actually. Any losing trades just got the day reset. So they didn't, most brokers, I don't know what Top Step did. I couldn't see what they did. Lucid, Tradeify, Top One, pretty much everyone else that uses Project X, they just reset the day if you were red. So it didn't count as a trading day. If you were green, they didn't do anything. And then any blown accounts as a result were also reset to whatever their previous day's balance was. But what ended up happening in the afternoon, especially with this IB trade that I had, which is very disappointing. I had an entry, I think at like 25.3, a 25.314 was up like 400 at 25.200 or 25.210. It was a 120 point drop, 140 point drop. And I put the stop loss at break even, and it immediately filled at break even. So I ended up missing like $400, $500 per account. Very disappointing. So starting whenever I end up getting this payout, which should be anytime now, I need to make another 400 on these accounts. I'm going to go and buy all those Apex accounts, even though their sale's over. I don't really care that the sale's over. There's our gap fill on Qs. So we ended up hitting that 50-50. Oh, that's inside bar. We had a 50-50 chance of filling that entire thing. Would have been a really nice entry off London 50, but it's also only the first 5-minute candle, so not overly rushed. No reason to rush into a trade. Are you doing options, Panda? What's going on? Tony. Steve. see if we can get a sweep at London low. If we can get a closure back over, then I'll be anticipating a move back up to London 50. If not, then we're going to go down to previous day's 50. The main thing that I don't like about the chart today is, as you can see, Qs is now in no man's land, but SPY is at just about at support with previous day's 50. It is at London low already, but it has previous day's 50 that will catch it right there. So make sure to watch both of those. Do you wait for the 9:30 15-minute candle to close before you look for entries? Yeah, most often. Most of the time, and maybe this is just for me, most of the time the opening move, you can anticipate it, but I've lost more times than I've gained a significant amount, if that makes sense. Like that rejection at London 50, we could have obviously taken. That was a picture perfect with the rejection. At the same time, then this is all hindsight. That could have just pushed all the way up to London high, and we're down 200 to start the day. London's range isn't too much. We have it's pretty much just 50 points, 100 points both ways. What's going on, Luke? How you doing? Usually manipulation off open. I try to stay away from the gambling mentality, more so towards the data-backed targets. Screener for today, I'll go to what's in play right now. Gap fill's already done. Orb, initial bounce. Consecutive bars. And yeah, we don't really have anything else for today. So if we can get a closure back over London low, I'll be looking for a move higher. That's on the 15-minute time frame. If not, then we'll be sitting right where we are right now. On NQ, significant levels to be watching is that 4-hour fair value gap. We should bounce pretty much right here at 24,395. It's below right now because I'm delayed on NQ, but this is 50% of that fair value gap. We could not get through the whole thing pre-market. If we break that level, then the next one, we don't have any resistance up until that 629 on Qs. It's 25,875. If we get back below this, then we're going all the way back down to 25,288. Aren't you proud, Eddie? I'm using 4-hour fair value gaps now. Crazy. What a world we've come to. Okay, SPY and Qs are causing a little of a issue right now for me because SPY is at its previous day's 50. It should bounce. Qs is still in no man's land. It has down to 609.67. Also has that trend line that it should bounce off of. I think if we can get down to previous day's 50, I might take an entry there. There's one M and Q. I'm on one. Good. We can also get rid of those levels from yesterday. We don't need the 25.4 anymore. So I think I'll try an entry at that previous day's 50 level. If we can get there. How many consecutive green days is that for Tesla? Just 3. I think there's a report for that on here as well. So average consecutive bars on Tesla. Current max green streak is 1. Oh, that's on the 15-minute. How do I get to? I want the time frame set to the daily. Oh, I guess we'll go to 30 minutes. Fine. Still at 1. Almost at previous day's 50. We only have 2 minutes left in the candle. I'd like to see in those 2 minutes have a wick form underneath, close back over, and then if that happens, we can go long. If not, we'll continue to sit here and wait. Let's see if we got that Tesla 5-minute opening inversion. So this would be a long on this candle right now from where that candle closed. 5-minute open green, wait for the second 5-minute to close, inverse that direction. Oops. I don't know what that was. And that would be going back towards that high at 495. Minute 42 left. If this candle closes right where it is right now, that will be SPY bouncing off previous day's 50, and it might carry Qs up with it. They're off by a little bit today, which kind of stinks. What's going on, Sasso? Good morning. Terrence, how you doing? We have 58 seconds left. How'd you end up doing yesterday, Sasso? Need 400 to pass through combines. There you go. We are way under previous day's 50 now in SPY. There was no bias there into open. The only thing we could have had was a rejection off of London 50. Made 200 from New York and made 500 last night. And you didn't get any of it wiped. It's good. I just want to see previous day's 50, a sweep of previous day's 50, preferably. I want to get some music on. You were worried. So we still closed under. I might have drawn it off by a little bit. Let's see. Still closed under previous day's 50 on SPY. Q's closed over it. NVDA bouncing off support, 173. I need to see this wick down, pop up again. That trend line should catch us as well. It's on the 24-hour time frame. If we break that, then we're going to go all the way back down to that low, though, 580. That would not be ideal. What's going on? Intraday, how you doing? Glad to have me back. All right, there's our previous day's 50 right there, just about. All right, hit it. Let's see if we can get a sweep. Oh, thank you, Kowalski. I'll go to NQ. Activate what? Be adjacent. 4-hour. That's why they look so off. Okay, that makes more sense. There we go. That makes a lot more sense now. All right, so there's our rejection from Monday. Now we're kind of creeping back up. Need to get to 25,535 and then back up to 25,646. Here is a sweep right now. So if we can get this to close up over that previous day's 50, we can go long and we'll have a stop at that low. Something that will kind of keep me away from this for now is that we did, and this is easier to view now as in wall dive, the IB formed the high first and then the low. So we will be targeting the low for today, unless it somehow creeps all the way back up to 613, which is probably not very likely. And another issue that we have is what SPY is doing with that previous day's 50 closing well under it. Right, there's a sweep. I think we would have been stopped out anyway. Had we taken one right there? Because previous day's 50 is 609.70, which correlates over to about 25,270. That's where we are right now, 25,275, and that wick was 30 points. So we barely would have missed getting stopped out. And now it would just be break even. But I want to see this candle close back over. There's a minute 29 left in the 5. It was at 53% yesterday right at close. I didn't see that within market open. Otherwise, I would have closed it. I was in the same boat. Sam, I kind of want the shares, if anything. That one, NVDX will help us a lot with recovering as well. I think NVIDIA should pretty easily get back up to those highs, which would push NVDX to 15, or not 15, what am I saying, 25, 24. So that inversion did not end up working on Tesla. We're getting dragged down a little too much on Qt. Whoa. What was that? What's going on here? Top steps down again? Don't tell me that. Is it really? Well, let's go on Lucid and Tradeify's Discord. Come on. That's 9 outages in 7 weeks. That was a really weird pivot up of London 50. That was a 50-point move in 10 seconds. Would have been really nice. So something I was telling Steve again yesterday, and I think this goes for absolutely everyone that trades futures. API disconnected, orders rejected. Shoot. This is something that goes for every single person that trades futures. Everyone that enters a trade, and this is another huge reason that I size down on everything. The emotions that you have going into a trade, you want your trade to go either green immediately or have no drawdown and steadily climb up to your price target. Most people want it to just go green immediately. So if I enter right now at 25.3, I want it to have exactly the type of move it just had on the 10-second chart, where it moves up 50 points in 10 seconds, and I make $200 in 10 seconds. It's obviously not the case, especially if you're doing it with NQ or several NQ contracts, or let's say even half an NQ, 5 MNQ. Everyone wants it to move immediately in the direction that you're playing, especially if you're sized into the position. Zinc, you should follow edgeful data for midnight open and previous day's close stat. What's the stat on that, Eddie? Okay, Sam. What's the stat on the overnight? I'll have to go back to the email. Yeah, that's what I'm looking at right now. How did they go down again? All right, this is actually looking really good for a long on both SPY and Qs. We got a sweep. I was not expecting it to have a 50-point 10-second pop like it did right there, but if we can get a close over previous day's 50, then we can take a long all the way up to London 50, 613, 65, and we still have an hour until the IB's formed. We do have some data today, though, so keep that in mind. We have 10 a.m. crude oil inventories. 10:30, sorry. That one's a red folder fast release, and then we have a couple speakers throughout the day as well. 10:30 is right when the IBs form, so it might interfere a little bit. Let's see what I use Firefox, not Microsoft Edge. Do you say something again? Yeah, they're down again. I don't know if we'll be able to place any orders. I am going to, so I will pull this up right now. I'm going to get, I will need some help from you guys because I've never used Apex. I don't know what the rules and stipulations are. I'm going to use these 25K accounts wherever they are. I don't think I have an account with Tradeify even. Tools, products. I think it's under this. I'm going to use this one right here. 25K full. Is it the full or static? Which one has the trailing drawdown? Oh, there's only 100K static. So I'm going to try to build up 20 of these accounts. That's what my goal is going to be. And just doing $50 a day. And this is obviously after passing the account. $50 a day on those accounts. 30 trading days will get you a $30,000 payout. So $1,000 a day over 20 accounts. And then however you want to manipulate it from there. $50 is a minimum trading day. I know that. So once I get the accounts, all 20 of them, I don't know how long it's going to take me to pass 20 evals, but we'll see. Once I get those, just going to aim for $50, $75, $100 a day. And that's just going to be one M&Q off of the IB trade or London 50 or whatever it might be. We have 5 minutes left on this 15-minute. We want to see a close over. So it's saying the APY is down. I'm not touching anything on this today because it took away my $200 green day yesterday. All right, for data, for the inside bar stat, that's not there because we opened outside of yesterday's range. Or we already broke yesterday's high anyway, so that's fulfilled. We broke the previous day's high. Initial bounce by rejection on Qs. We formed the high first. We have an 81% chance of breaking the low. This should be skewed a little bit because the average is 75% or 74%. So we might be targeting a loss on that today. It's not overly skewed, so it's not at the 8% mark quite yet. I will take it if it continues to form a new low. I do want to take a long right now if we get a closure over previous day's 50, especially with the way the 5 minutes shaping up right now. Tesla actually did end up working on that inversion. Just took a little bit longer. How do you trade multiple accounts at once? This has a built-in copy trading function. So I have 1 leader account, and then for the other firms, Tradeify, I do the same thing. I just have 2 tabs open. I have my laptop over here that helps as well. Look at that bounce off previous days 50 trend line bounce as well. We should be heading all the way back up to that 629 high. Yeah, no problem. Should. We're at 50% of the IB, but the IB still has 30 minutes left, which is more than enough for us to push up another $2 right here. Weird happenings outside today. The hot weather has got people doing weird things. Perfect bounce off of previous day's 50. Well, I wouldn't say perfect, even though I just did. My apologies. I think we would have been stopped out on that wick low. It hit 25,245, and we probably would have gotten an entry at 25,280. So we would have just barely gotten stopped out. Let me actually. So while we have the stream going, I'm gonna buy. Do they have an 80% off code right now? Does anyone know for Apex? Because I'm not gonna have a trade or stream where we don't have another trade today. I can't trade on. I'm not gonna refresh it because it's not gonna let me even log back in. That's the error that's giving people right now. Does anyone in here have a referral code to Apex? Because I'll use it. Apex Trader Funding. You can drop it in whatever chats. Ran out yesterday. They still have 80% off though, don't they? I think they always have 80% off. Resets, all evals, only 196. Take 80% off, now 39.20. That's not too bad. I don't think I have an account with them. Oh boy, that's going to take a while actually. Yeah. Let's see. Well, I do not have an account. I'm going to sign up. %50 of the IB hitting right there. I might honestly short all the way back down. We'll see. That's the 10 a.m. reversal, so we should climb back up. A lot of back and forth. Okay. There we go. Save. Confirmation email. Probably should have had this set up beforehand. And then I can connect it to, forgive my ignorance here. I can connect it to TradingView, right? Does anyone know? Sam, Steve, Waldive, Patrick, Rebo, anyone in the stream? Click this link. Okay. Good. Goodness gracious, this is going to take... Okay, we're just going to sit here and watch. I'll do that later. Yes, on Apex. Thank you, Roland. You need to enable it on the Trade of 8 website. Thank you. So I don't think it's for add-ons. Good. I don't think we're going to go make a new IBI now. It was looking good that we were going to bounce right there. We have 50% of that IB at 609.67. We should have a bounce, or should have held the bounce off of that. I can't do anything on Project X anyway. I wanted to, but I would, for a long entry, I think this looks pretty good right here. Stop loss would be the current IB low, and then target would be up to London 50. Dogs are losing it. So that would have been a pretty good entry on that pullback. We almost got previous days 50 again. That just flipped the script already. So now it's looking good to go back up to the high. This would be, I'll leave that on there. This would be a pretty good entry, or a pretty good thesis. What is that, a 5R? I'm becoming a professional trader now, using risk-reward stats. I wish I could go see what their chat looks like. It usually cracks me up. All right, we will use the screener. Let's see. I think it's going to be perfectly split. 14, 19, 67% neutral. Looking very Christmas tree. So not really that much of a development in continuations, up or down. We need these to start flipping. Preferably, I'd even be fine with like 30% bearish or 30% bullish. Right now we have, the opening range breakout still forming. Opening candle continuation is already done. Opening candle continuation was bearish for SPY and Qs. Those 30-minute candles closed red. 15-minute candle closed red as well. Order flow. Thank you very much, Roland. So I will, next billing date, December 20th, 2025. It's free though. Good. Top stacks back. Thank you. Good. Or Project X, not Top Step. I'll leave that long position there, actually. If we can get over 50% of the IB, I think I'll try a long as well. I'd rather just wait for the IB to be completely formed. 24 minutes left on it, which is a little too much time. What we can do is take advantage of the fact that the IB break is happening much, much, much later in the day. We never had it on Monday. Tuesday, yesterday happened at 1 in the afternoon. Same exact thing on Friday. Friday happened at 11. Oh, no, Friday was right at 10:30, but we still got a retracement back up at 10:30, after 10:30, 10:45. Thursday last week happened at 1. Wednesday last week happened at 10:45. I think. No, 10:30. That one was right at 10:30. This one happened at 10:45. So we might be able to take advantage of a later IB and just wait for it to form. But that would be, if this was like 10.28 right now, I'd take the entry short right there. But we have a little too much time left for development in that position. We don't have any speakers. Trump is set to address us tonight at 9. I don't know what that's going to entail. If you worry about, I'll bite the bullet. Let's see. That's refreshed at least. What's the error message you're getting, Sam? We don't have any inversions on the 3-minute or 5-minute. These candles all ate each other's fair value gap, so there's no confluence there for upside. $22 minutes left on that IB. If you guys don't want to trade the IB as well, there is more than enough stats you can play on here. You can even use the orb algo on the 15, 20 minute, 25 minute, 30 minute, 5 minute, whatever you want. It's very customizable there. But for our bias right now, still smack dab in the middle. The good news is the longer that this takes to develop here, we'll either have a move up towards 613.68 or we'll have a move down towards our IB low at 608. One other thing I want to add in as well for a Wednesday, if we have a breakdown there, if we have a breakdown to the bottom of that IB, yesterday we made no additional move once that initial balance is broken. So there's no reason to trade after the initial balance. That's what I firmly believe. The chances of us continuing lower, about the same as they were yesterday. Yesterday we had an 80% chance of going to half a standard deviation. It's at 81.82 for today. About the same read on a Wednesday, but we obviously never went and moved outside the IB and ended up having a double break. So for today, we're just going to be looking for a break of either the low or the high. As it's setting up right now, we're looking for a break of the low. 5-minute does have a little bear flag on it as well. And then once that's broken, close your screens. No reason to go and trade past that. Let me get the alert out here. Profile. Movement has dried up a little bit. 215, nice. The longer this takes to build some direction, the shorter it is, or the lower chance it has to go and break that high or make a new IB high. So as it's setting up right now, it is a really small IB. We only have, go and get this rectangle drawn in. I hate that purple color. Change that to beige. So for the midline too, purple. So for the IB right now, we only have a 100-point-ish break. If we can take it right at 50% of the IB, it's 200 points in total. So if we get a perfect entry right at 50%, then it's a 100-point trade. Or a 100-point stop loss, we'll take it with 1 MNQ. Ooh, weekly $500 calls on Tesla. Nice. Can you provide my Apex referral link? I'm not affiliated with any prop firms, so I do not have a link for you, unfortunately. I was just going to use one if any of you guys had one. So what the plan for me is right now, go ahead and get a short position. It'll be something like this. Ideally, we get an entry right at 50% of the IB. It'll be a 1-to-1 risk reward. It's going to be 200 points. And we target the IB low breaking. And then the continuation, we could put in a lower price target like we did yesterday, or we were theorizing yesterday. I think today is going to print exactly like it did. Most of big money, and if you guys watch Wall Street Einstein, Peter Bronston, I don't know his last name. He does like a daily recap of inside the New York Stock Exchange pretty much every day. It's basically empty right now. So all those big money people, the floor algos are just running right now. A lot of people are just off for the holidays. They don't do anything for this week, next week, the week after. This is usually when people start spending their bonuses too. So the money does not go back into the market quite yet. They're spending it on Christmas gifts, travel, leisure, whatever it might be. But it's actually a good read. If you watch his videos, you can see, you can kind of get an indication of how aggressive the floor is or how leisure they are. What's a poor word choice there? How relaxed they are, I should have said. So let's do some quick math. It's going to be $36 an account for eval times 20. $720 for 20 accounts isn't bad. And then the activation fee is like 80 something, I think. 89. It's going to be $2,500 all in, and that will be half of my payout from Lucid. Half the first payout anyway. 15 minutes left for the IB. I'm going to try to be patient with this today. Even if we get a move down, we should have previous day's 50 catch us. If we can get 611.28 or even anywhere above that, I'm going to take a short though. If we can get up to like 612, 612.60, the short is going to be like this. The further we can pull back, the better it is for our risk reward. So as it stands right now, this is 50% right there of the IB. The higher we pull back, it just skews it in our favor, and it lowers how much we're going to be risking. And then vice versa. This is why I don't end up taking it when it's 10 to 20, 30, 40 points away. Because yes, you have a pretty solid plan. This happens more often than not, though. You have a pullback. Sometimes it breaks right at 10:30. It used to break right at 10:30, but recently it's been breaking much later in the afternoon, and then you have to ride the trade for 2 hours, and this would be rather uncomfortable if we entered down here and then it pivots all the way up to 25,411. So we're going to try to get an entry at the very least right at 50% of the IB. And then the IB high is right there, IB low right there, 50% of it. Perfect 1-to-1. They must be getting hacked out or something. You'd think. You would think. All right, 12 minutes. The longer this takes to move, the better it is for us. We want the IB to form as it is right now because we have a very good stat of taking that low. I'll leave this pulled up. That's on SPY too. SPY is right at 50% of it. It's just a big old mess at the moment. For Qs. It is just shy of 8% standard deviation, meaning that it's not due a reversion quite yet. Overall average, I believe, is 74%. 73. It's still just barely under the 8%, so we can still take it to the low. $81.82. Yep. The amount of money they make, they can't have. Oh, I think they ended up just losing their top one. That's when all the outages started happening. The guy that made the platform. Hopefully we don't go and take a new low because I want to capitalize on this trade. Theoretically, it should be super, super easy to get $50 days with Apex because even if we do skew our risk reward, that's a 25-point move on 1MNQ. That's what I'm going to be targeting. So even if we go and take the IB low right now and say we entered the trade, it's a massive stop loss, obviously. But that's our 30 points that we want, 25 points, whatever it might be. And we just need to do that for 30 days. The IB itself has about a 75% win rate. And then anytime you see the data significantly skewed, so if it's reading like 88% chance of going to break the low or 90%, then either don't take the trade for that day, or you can inverse it when it's like 5-10 points away from breaking the IB. Very much like it was yesterday, we were in that short at 10:30. Right on the dot. We had an entry at 50%. It went down, hit 607.36, which was 30 cents off of taking the IB low, and then ended up going up to 75% of the IB, and then broke it at 1. So it took a long time. All right, less than 10 minutes. Shaping up pretty good for us right now. I can go ahead and get rid of that trend line. Well, actually, I'll leave that in for a minute. If we do break the IB, this is another reason I'm not going to drag the stat that much lower. We have this trend line. If we break it, we're going to know that we're going to break it, and it's going to drop all the way down to like 590, 600 on Qs. If we bounce off of it, we're going right back up to 629. And if that's the case, then there's no reason for us to be anticipating lower. Half a standard deviation right now for the IB is sitting at 606. So that would be a further price target. I don't think it's going to get down there. It very well might, but I would not be expecting it. Eight minutes left. Good, very good. If we have like 7 minutes left in the candle, I'll be comfortable taking that to the low if we can get to 50%. But we need it to get back up to 611. 28. It's looking pretty good. We just need our entry right there. I'll do a limit 1 right there, actually. Limit sell 1. So if it does hit while I'm not watching it. Does the retracement option only kick in after the IB is broken? No, the retracement one is, if we go to the IB by retracement, that's saying how much it retraces into the already formed IB. So if it's like 75%, maybe that's when you start looking at those stats. I'm actually gonna, I'm gonna take that off for now. I think we might get a little bit higher. So remove that limit buy order. Or limit sell order, rather. The retracement one is different than the IB by levels, Dom. IB by levels tells you what the rejection or what the continuation after it breaks is going to be. The IB by retracement tells you how it's going to retrace, let's say, up to, why is it still on Tuesday? It's so weird. How it's going to retrace up to, like yesterday, 75% of the IB, or a little bit more past that. So that's a pretty good entry right there. I want to get a little, that would have filled this in, I think. No, I would have missed it. I had that order at 25,349. I would have missed it anyway. Right now it's at a perfect 1-to-1. Looks like it hit it on Qs. MNQ did not. Why Apex 25K accounts and not Lucid Apex is tricky intraday drawing? The risk-reward trade-off is that you're trading 20 accounts as opposed to trading 5 on Lucid. That's why I want to do Apex. So yes, it has intraday trailing drawdown, but you're trading on 20 accounts as opposed to trading on 5 of them. My greed for the pullback is hitting a little bit right here. This is really, it might be down again, because Q's very easily just took out that 50%, and we did not on MNQ. We have 5 minutes left for the IB. Our order wouldn't have been filled there. We had 349. That candle was at 346. That would have been damn close. But I will be looking for an IB short. Could have force filled right there. I don't know why it's off so much on these. Yeah, we wouldn't have been filled. There we go. This is why I use Qs, by the way, for all the questions I get. You can see Qs equal high, equal level. It hit 50% of the IB, and we did not on MNQ. So slight deviation in price there. That was our pullback. 3 minutes left. Definitely going to be targeting the IB low. $611 is what we want to get up to. Did I get in short? No, it missed my limit short by 3 points. 25,349. It hit 25,346. But that is not, I missed it by a tick. That's not at my fault. It's slippage on the MNQ chart, or it might even just be a project X issue. It did hit 50% on Qs, which I should have force filled on it. So if you want it to bounce up again, and then we can get an entry, hopefully. I'll force fill it based on what Qs is showing. You got short. There you go, Predator. Pull back again for me if you can. 25.3 is holding. We're kind of in the same exact position as we were yesterday with the psych level. Only yesterday's psych level was 25.2. That's what kept holding. It's coming. $30 seconds. A little bit more. A little bit more. Oh, so close. So close. 6.11.19. That's just me being greedy about waiting for a pullback. We are going to get it, though. It's going to happen right here. I don't want to miss the trade. Okay. All right, I'm going to take it. I'm going to do sell one short M and Q. Target's going to be IB low. Stop loss, we're going to put an IB high. Not an ideal risk reward on that, but good enough. Short 1 M and Q. And that is this stat that we're taking a look at right now. I'll leave that up for a minute while I get this alert out. Entry is 25.328. Almost 100 points. It's 80 right now. We need to lose 25.3, which we're under right now. And we also need to get underneath that previous day's 50 if we can. 610 is going to be a significant level. And Q keeps bouncing off Monday lows. Could very, I mean, 30 points right now. If you guys had size in this, you could very well secure that. Say that's a pretty damn good, quick 30 points. All right, up 75, 35-point trade. Does anyone else struggle as much as me trying to let trades run to full TP? That's exactly what I'm going to do right now. I'm out for 85. Forgive me. It's 40 points. I'm not letting what happened yesterday happen again. And now that I did get out, it's going to go ahead at full TP. Smooth as can be. Out for 85 profit on that. Yep. That's it's a 42-point trade, so. And I'm a little worried about what happened with Top Step because they're having issues again today. $85 per MNQ is really good. The stat we're looking for is still going to be down to the low. It's not that I don't trust the stats. Don't get it twisted. The fact that I took it there is just because I haunted by yesterday, but also 85, 42-point trade. And once I do have the Apex counts, that's exactly what I'm going to do. $80, that's 60% over what the price target per day is going to be, which is going to be at 50. We are below previous day's 50 now, so it should pretty easily flush all the way to the IB low. Right there. So 20 points below where I exited. Missed $40. Can you explain why you don't target continuations in only the high/low of the IB? Because that is the more significant stat. The IB break itself, we go to the initial balance breakout. This is a full TP going to hit right here. 40 cents off. The IB stat itself, this is a 97.7% chance that it breaks. Even if this is over 6 months. If we want to go to 5 years, it's still the same data report. Once it loads, that is, it's kind of comical how that happens, isn't it, Barry? And everyone else that just watched me fumble another $80. That's okay. See green, take green. You gonna load? IB low taken, full TP hit. Beautiful. And that's it. So the continuation, you would be targeting 606.50. The reason that I do not is because this stat itself, 97% chance it breaks every day, every single day. And this is for 5 years worth of data. Whereas if you go to Qs on, okay, we're gonna do IB by rejection or IB by levels. This will give us a continuation. Okay, I want to see all the way down to 606. Now, obviously today it's gonna work because I'm talking shit about it. It changes pretty drastically day to day. So 71% chance it goes on a breakout today versus if we go and pull it up for, let's say, a Friday. If we have a breakdown on a Friday, only a 50% chance that it goes to half a standard deviation on a Friday and a Monday, let's say. All I'm getting at is that it's a much lower stat, expecting it to go lower after the initial balance is broken. 58% chance on a Monday, so on. But that's the winning trade that I aim for right there. That's it. And then once that's broken, I think price is pretty much done for the day. It doesn't usually like to continue much further past that. But that is for Qs. SPY break it yet? It did. Qs is coming back up. A little disappointed I didn't hold it the full way. That would have been a pretty easy additional $80, but yeah, no problem, Mari. At 4 hour fair value gap. Thank you, Sam. Pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered. Yeah, I'm a healthy pig. Don't clip that, please, Sabine. It's an easy stat to play. It's an easy stat. Short position, our entry was right. Where was it? Our entry was right there. Even though I did get out early, that's a pretty nice risk reward. Zoo said have to go, but excellent trade today. I took with you and it all did make sense. It's very easy to follow. Very easy, very simple. QQQ. Now the only kind of weird part is that I have another 20 minutes on the stream, and I'm not going to take anything else. We're going to watch it go all the way down to 50% or half standard deviation. $134 times 10 accounts. Is the IB for gold the same as NQ? Oh, Ashley, you're going to make me look at it. Don't do that to me. Okay, let's go take a look at gold. It's not the same, but it is. It's already broken on gold. We broke the IB high. The stat is much, much lower on gold. Much lower. This one's actually, I guess, just take the high break on a Wednesday no matter what. 62% chance, regardless of if the high or low is formed first on a Wednesday. There you go, Eddie. Or Eddie, you're not trading the IB anymore, are you? Locked out, 346. There you go. So it's not, the stat's not the same on gold, not at all. It's funny how that works. The day that I'm not going to take the full TP and just talk shit about chop and not going to half standard deviation on the break, it's going to go and hit it within that 1045 candle. Join late, but to confirm, you look for the IB by rejection to set bias, then you enter around 50% retracement, targeting the high probability side of the IB to break. That is exactly correct. Exactly correct. Never trade the IB on gold. We'll go back and look at it later. Just for a Wednesday, Eddie. Wednesday has the stat hitting the high regardless of what high or low form first. So I guess just long gold on a Wednesday. Oh, man. Missed another 120 points right now. 240. That's okay. It's A-okay. Sad thing is I would be payout eligible right now. Not because I secured that trade early, but because of the mess that happened yesterday. That was a really nice trade. For the continuation, so each one of these lines is a half a standard deviation, 0.5, 1, 1.5. For IB by levels on a Wednesday, I think I'm on a Wednesday, right? No, Monday. For IB by levels on a Wednesday, and this is saying the continuation, we have a 60% chance. Oh, I'm on gold. Hold on. We have a 71% chance of going to half standard deviation, and that should be about it for today. So this level hitting right here, 606.54, once that hits, that should be price being done, finished. No more movement. We have a 1 in 4 chance of going to one full standard deviation, which is all the way down to 604 flat. Question for you. I trade the IB retracement a lot, wait for the break, enter at 15% retracement and target extension levels. In a case like this, when it moves directionally to the profit targets, without retracing, if it did end up retracing, best not to enter, move is over. Correct. Exactly. Exactly correct. Safe to say we missed a little bit of that move. Just a little bit. Eesh. Profit is profit. Money is money. Regardless of how much. Oopsie. This chart's going to make me eat every single word I just said. It's okay. I caught a 40-point trade. That's all I need. That's it. Still a $1,200 day, over 10 accounts. This is really just going to make me regret my decisions a little bit. All right, we're going 15 NQ short, targeting all the way down another $6. I was in 5 counts with IB low. Could have trailed. Hindsight 2020, man. It could have done this, what it did yesterday, where it broke it and then pittered out a little bit. Who's to expect a 1% continuation lower? It is what it is. Do you use IB levels to plan for any reversals? I have a little success with that. Yes, actually. So, I mean, that goes in hand with catching a falling knife. If it's a day like, I guess we could use today as an example. If we go all the way down to 2 standard deviations somehow, which is past what I even have in the chart right now, let's say we go all the way down to 600. Those are 7% odds of hitting for a breakdown day. You could try like a 1 to 2 MNQ short down to those levels, and then once we hit that level, you try 1 to 2 MNQ targeting back up a little bit. The only issue for that is that you don't have a level that you're targeting back to the upside, if that makes sense. Like for the IB, we know that we're breaking 608.96. Or the IB high, we know that we're breaking 613.63. Once you start trying reversals at these levels, I'm actually going to go ahead and make sure I don't do anything stupid today. Once we start trying reversals at these levels, you don't have any price target that you're aiming for. So let's say we go down and hit 1.5 standard deviation. That's only a 14% chance of happening. That doesn't mean that you have an 85% chance of winning on that trade. It just means that that doesn't usually hit when price continues moving that low. And then you have no price targets to the upside to take. So that's why I don't use the. That's the username. Per the reversal conversation, yeah, I began to take a look at TPs more like scalps. Say 10 points out of yes. Yeah, I'm not a scalper. I do not prefer to scalp positions. I say that as we just had a position up for 2 minutes. It's interesting that price is cleaner today when there's no news. Well, we did have news right there. That was crude oil inventories, which just dropped us. They missed by 1.2 million, 4.8, 1.7. That was at 10:30. That's the reason for that big old dump right there. Really nice trade today, though. Just 1 for 1. Very happy that I got an entry and didn't try waiting a little bit longer because that would have stunk. And I guess we did get a little lucky that the crude oil inventories didn't come in with a massive beat, but they are usually off by so many on these. Like, how do you miss an estimate by 4.8 million barrels? I don't even think a meteorologist is that bad. Not really anything else that we have to take a look at. I mean, SPY's broken its IB low, Q's IB low's gone, Tesla played out. Also, I forgot to add, if you guys are interested in playing it on individual names, Tesla has pretty much the same IB stat for the buy rejection. 68%, 69% chance, and 58% chance. Crude oil inventory has definitely helped out a little bit right there. Locked out and done for the day. No more trading. Not going to do anything stupid. So I am actually, I'm interested. Log into my Lucid. Do it on the screen. I think I'm like 400 off. I just needed another trading day anyway. 300 or 400 off. No need to push it for today. Here's my dashboard. Start trading. I want my dashboard pulled up, please. My portal, there we go. I am 619. What? Oh, that's dumb. 35% consistency. I thought it was 40. Oh well. Do you use the IB trade during Asia session? I do not. No, I do not. This thing is plummeting right now. I told you guys if it was going to break that trend, they're probably going to go all the way down to 600. Those higher lows are no longer. I mean, if we put it in a wick, we do have a lot of the time left in the day to do so. Bitcoin's not really falling, which is a good thing. That means MSTR should hopefully be holding up today. Phew. I was worried that one's going to be down as much as Q's was. This is all based off the crude oil inventories, sadly. We got another 5 minutes here. Not going to take any other trades. Just analyzing stuff. If you guys have any questions, ask away. Anyone have anything in the Discord? If not, then I'm going to go and end the stream right there for the Discord, and then we'll answer a couple more questions if you guys have any. We have 5 minutes anyway. That's a little crash course on how to end your workday at 11, though, prior to 11. Nice day, thanks. Yeah, no problem. No problem. There's one full standard deviation just about to hit, which was only I think it was a 40% outcome for Wednesday. QQQ 28%. So that was a 1 in 4 chance that we wouldn't hit that level, and it is right there. It's about to go and hit it. 604.13. Wow, we missed some points. I secured it at previous day's 50, which was another $5. Whew. That would have gotten me the payout. I still needed another winning day anyway. No problem stacking those. You only need $50 on it. The VIX really isn't up all that much. We do have the fear greed index that's fixed. It should be. The put call ratio was reading 890,000 yesterday. That should be well back in that. What the heck is going on with this thing? Put call ratio is still all jacked up. It says greed on it. Should be at fear right now because it's at 0.6. It's weird. Didn't quite hit that one standard deviation. All right, everyone, that will do it for today. Any questions, just tag me in chat. For anyone in the stream, I do have a couple minutes left here. If you want to find more of my information, you can either go directly through Edgeful, or you can go on to my Twitter, which is Mr. Zinc X. Find more of me there. Posting some edgeful stats. I really just use the ones that you see pinned up here in the top right. Gap fill by size. This gives me the bias for the day. So if we open the day, like today was a bad example. We didn't have any bias. It was a 50-50 chance that we had a gap fill. Now it's 52.48 because we ended up filling it. But prior to open, this was 50-50. No bias there. The next thing I usually go to is inside bars. If price opens within previous day's range, then you have a 78% chance, give or take 2%, 78% chance that price breaks that range. We obviously did not open within yesterday's range. And even if we did, we wicked over previous day's high right there at London 50. The next one that I go to, so those first two give me the bias typically. And then the only other thing that I do, wait for the first hourly candle to form, or the first 60 minutes rather. And then we just sit here and we wait and watch for, okay, the high form first. Are we breaking the low form first? Are we breaking the high, vice versa? So in this case today, we had a IB by rejection stat. Go to Wednesday on, was this not reading 78% earlier? Am I going crazy? What happened? I know for a fact this was saying like 83 or 78, one of the two. I'm on Q's too. Huh. I have a screenshot of it too. It says 81.78%. It's weird. Anyway, that was telling us that we were going to have an IB break lower, and then that's pretty much the only couple of stats I use. I do also use the opening candle continuation very rarely, though. I use it through the screener. That one's not really a report that you need to go and look at consistently because it tells you the same thing every day. It's if the 30-minute opening candle's red, you have a higher chance of closing the day red, and vice versa if it's green. So we opened red. Another stat, and this is not on edgeful, but I love sharing this. 80% of the time that price is trending, it will continue to do so. 20% of the time it will reverse. And that's why going up to your question about the reversals right here, I don't really like taking reversals because price doesn't typically reverse. You're much better off looking for a reversion or a retest and then playing into the continuation or playing into the trend. So right now, if I wasn't locked out, I'd look for a green candle and I would short that candle. What I have been doing is like 2M and Q, 3M and Q maybe on continuations. I will continue to short that move, targeting the previous low. So for this candle, 607.04 hit. I just target it to go to 606.12. It's like a 20-point move. And then my stop loss and lockout for the day is if price ends up reversing and then my stop loss hits. And I always put, when I do enter these reversals, I always put a 1-to-1 risk reward on that trade. So my reward on this was $105. My risk is going to be $105. If it goes and hits the stop loss, I'm done, locked out for the day. But the significant stat, and this is the highest stat that is available on edgeful, I can say that for a fact, is the initial balance standard report. And this essentially says that regardless of what ticker you're trading, SPY, Qs, gold, Tesla, HIMS, NVDA, you have a 98%, 97.5% chance that price breaks out of the range that is made within that first 60 minutes. And this, I have been trading it for 6 months. Monday is the first day in 6 months that I've seen price not break out of that first 60-minute range, and that was on Qs. You can see that we had a just nasty consolidation between 618 and 609. Still capitalized on it by taking shorts, targeting the low, just never ended up breaking. For price today, broke beautifully. We had a beautiful break in the IB yesterday. But 97, 98% chance that you have a break of the range that forms in the first 60 minutes. So that means only 2% of the time, if I take the trade, we're going to consolidate like we did on Monday. And then the win rate on the IB by rejection, which is what gives you the bias, the win rate on this is like 75% on any weekday. So if you just went and looked at this and said, okay, the low is formed first, I'm going to target the high breaking. Stop loss is going to be above the high or above the low, below the low. That is my stop loss in the trade. Aim for an entry at 50% of the IB. That's your trade for the day. My voice is cracking like a mother right now. Any other questions before I head out? We have 838 of you guys tuning in. If there's nothing else, then that is your crash course for having your workday be done at 10:30, 11 o'clock in that range. Oh, new comment. Sorry, I didn't see any of those. Do you have stats on once IB is formed, or are the chances that it retraces to 10, 20, 30, 40, 50%? That is going to be under your IB by retracement stat right here. I don't really use this one. I just look for it to retrace the 50%, or I try to enter as close to 50% as possible. It's not really always going to be the case, but you can assign levels on the 5-minute time frame. And let's say you want it to retrace to, you said 10, 20, 40. So put all those levels in. I don't really ever use this one. I just look for 50% hitting. No, there you go. So the chance that we get a retracement to 10%, 85%. The chance we get a retracement to 20%, 60%. Chance we get a retracement to 3 or 30% is 50%. So it's not very likely that we get retracements past 20, 30%. I still always look for an entry as close as possible. You also, this is based off after the IB is formed. So after 10:30. We retraced at 10:30, we retraced just under 50% of the gap. But I typically front run it a little bit. So our entry into that trade, I closed the Lucid platform already, but our entry into the trade was at 10:26, 4 minutes before the IB was formed. And then we got out, or 2 minutes before the IB was formed, 10:28 was the entry. And then we got out 2 minutes at like 10:31, something like that. All right, guys, that will do it for the stream. Again, if you want to connect some more, I'm on Twitter under Mr. Zinc X, or you can go and look at Edgeful. You can find me through there as well. I will be live again tomorrow, same time, 9 to 11. I had some technical difficulties this morning. That's why I wasn't live right at 9, but they're all fixed now. Have a great rest of your day, everyone. I will not be taking any more trades as the IB is done. We went and hit a 1 in 4 stat as well. We're getting a low reversal now, but not really expecting anything past this. So have a great rest of your day.